The 1.05 update is set to be released tomorrow, and with it comes some serious meta changes which are a step in the right direction in my opinion. There are some big changes coming to system mechanics such as throws and the hit system as well, and with that said, I'm going to give you guys a visual representation of some of these patch notes, so let's get right into it. So the first system change is about the throws. So first let's talk about the generic throws. As of right now, generic throws track both sides 360 degrees left and right, and this change will not be affected in the next update. Generic throws are still going to track both sides. Now I don't really feel a certain way about this because the generic throws were nerfed in Tekken 8. They have less range. So if you guys did know, back in Tekken 7 you could press the forward input, so forward plus generic throw, and the character would extend their arms and increase the reach of that particular throw. So either forward 2 plus 4 or forward 1 plus 3. Now that was nerfed in Tekken 8. You can't do that anymore except for King, I think. So this is not really that big of a deal, but it's a start. We'll see how this ages. The tracking of command grabs has been reduced apparently. We don't know by how much. It does say the possibility of being side steps. It doesn't say completely reduced, which scares me because oh man, we should be able to completely step command throws, but again we have to test this tomorrow. There are some exceptions to certain command throws that will still track both sides, and I mean like fully tracking. So Dragon's forward 2 cancel into 1 plus 2 will still track both sides completely. Steve's command grab during hit will track both sides. Reina's command grab as well during her Heaven's Wrath stance will track both sides. So certain command grabs will still track, but like the overall fast command grabs like King Tombstone, you know, the Giant Swing, those ones should be able to be stepped, which is a huge change. W Namco. Another big change is to the hit burst. The hit burst right now is super strong. This thing has very little weaknesses. The only one being, I think, a grab and a low, right? But it has to be at the perfect moment. But overall hit burst has been so strong for the longest time. It has 360 degrees tracking, by the way. You can't step this, but now you will be able to step this, especially in situations where you are more plus than your opponent. So for example, Raven's all standing 2 here is -8. So if he does all standing 2 into hit burst and I sidestep, I should be able to completely step this hit burst. This will require some testing. Additionally, and this one is a big one, the hit burst activation can now be countered by parries and power crushes. This is a huge change. For example, Raven here, I believe, is the only character that can actually react to a hit burst and parry it with his back 2 plus 4 parry because it's a 1 frame activation, but we'll be able to do this with power crush and parries. But however, you will have to anticipate this. You can't really like react to it, you have to anticipate it, but it's still a very good option. Leroy will be insane for this. Yo, Leroy video coming soon. Leroy mains rejoice. This is a huge buff, a huge change. Like, it gives us more options and makes the hit burst a little bit less intoxicating. W again Namco, very good change. You also won't be able to KO your opponent using the hit burst, which is another good move. Namco are listening. Guys, this is huge. Other notable changes include the hit burst leaving your opponent closer to you on hit, and the change of the distance, I believe, on block. It does say change the behavior on block, so we'll have to test this tomorrow when the patch drops. But overall, some solid changes to the hit burst. I can't wait for this. Another good change with the hit dash at the wall is the removal of the wall stun or the wall stagger, which gave you +18, right? +18. That was mad. Like, generally a hit dash gives you +5, but at the wall, because of the wall stun, you get +18. Like, this meant the possibility of some sick setups like Brian Taunt was guaranteed, you know, some ridiculous stuff like that. So this mitigates some pressure, and another huge change, you know, W Namco again. Let's go, man. Good change. Another good change with the hit dash is the fact that you can now recover some gray health from a hit dash. So 6 on hit and 4 and 3 on block. Sorry, of course this will require some testing tomorrow, but this is a good change. Of course, chip damage is overtuned in this game in my opinion, so the fact that we can recover some gray health from the hit dash is pretty good. And finally, on the hit dashes, and this one is a bit more of a quality of life improvement if you ask me, is I think they're changing the animation to some of the hit dashes that leave the opponent's face on the ground. So basically, it's a bit difficult to do a follow-up after these kind of hit dashes like Devojin back 3 or Laz 111, right? They get up a little bit too quickly. So I think they are going to adjust it to the point where you can have like, better follow-ups out of this. So QOL improvement, higher damage possibility follow-ups from this, maybe. We'll have to see tomorrow, but a QOL improvement, pretty decent overall. So these hit engagers have also been nerfed. You won't really be allowed to do like big follow-ups because there's damage scaling 1, and the opponent can also now take row if you do slower follow-up moves. For example, in the case of Raven here, his max damage from forward 1+2 into hit dash is his back 3, but back 3 is hella slow, longest animation as well. So I think the opponent will be able to take row now, so you have to go for something faster. Like in the case of Raven, you instead have to go for something like forward 4 instead of back 3. This is a huge nerf because hit engager combos do some massive damage, but a good change in my opinion. Okay, so now let's talk about some changes to the stage gimmick, starting with the reduction of the gray health. So if you guys didn't know, stage gimmicks such as balcony breaks and floor breaks do take away some of the opponent's gray health. So this has been reduced from 20 to 15. So not a huge change, but it's an okay change. You get to keep a little bit of your gray health, which is a good change over. So this Leroy combo, for example, just notice how much gray health the opponent loses after I land the wall break, after the animation, boom, boom, boom. Right there, you see that gray health? So yeah, you will get to lose less of that, which is a decent change. Stages with wall explosions such as Arena Underground and Otis Farms will deal less gray health damage after the explosion, so it's gone from 20 to 15, so you get to lose a little bit less gray health, which is another change as well. Damage scaling is finally here for these explosive stages as well. We've been waiting for this, it's about goddamn time. Some huge nerfs, well expected, well welcomed W Namco. Apparently there's a new special animation that's been added to certain moves called the reversal break property, which is aimed at power crashes and parries. So it seems to be a specific counter to either power crash and the parries overall. So for example, it's been given to Steve's Lionheart 1+2. Now I don't really know what this will look like, but it seems as though it's a specific targeted move that counters power crash specifically and parries as well. This can be huge for the meta, right? Characters with huge parries like Leroy and Dragonov can suffer or will suffer from this, and characters like Steve that are susceptible to parries will be strong if they know that an opponent will spam power crash or spam parry after throwing out certain moves. So if they can counter this with something that's known as reversal break and does maybe something insane, yeah, this will be huge. Now I don't know what will this look like. We'll have to wait and see what it's about tomorrow. Now of course I will cover this as well when the patch drops, so look forward to that, boys. So there you have it, guys. Those are overall the biggest meta shift changes coming to the 1.05 update tomorrow, and in my opinion this is a step in the right direction. There's been so much obnoxious stuff revolving around hit and the throws especially. So with the throws, I can't wait how this really affects a lot, but we have to wait and see because the generic throws still being, homing moves is still big, because keep in mind, guys, throws are still strong. The fact that we have counter-hit throws and unbreakable throws is still a huge deal, right? So despite being nerfed, the generic throws will still cater for that, oh shit, throws don't track anymore, we can't really spam them as much. Command grabs especially will be hit hard. King, Dragonov, yeah, this is good. So think of like Dragonov who crouch down forward 1-4 into his up forward 1+2. A lot of Dragonov players use the throw to track people, but now that it's nerfed, that might not be the case anymore. We'll have to wait and see. The hit burst can now be stepped in certain scenarios. Again, this will require testing, but this is huge. The fact that we can use power crash to counter it is huge. The fact that we can actually parry a hit burst is huge. Shout out Leroy mains, Jean mains, Raven mains. This will be a very, very big deal. Hit engagers not being super plus at the wall again is a big deal. Able to get some gray health, losing some gray health from the wall breaks, the floor breaks is a huge change as well. Not losing that much health, right? Stage gimmicks being nerfed, combo damage nerfs, gray health buffs as well. Decent changes, man, decent changes. Namco are listening, Namco know what they're doing. But what do you guys think of these changes so far? I think the pace is good. They should take it one patch at a time. Don't want to make drastic changes and start double downing again, making changes again, going back. So I love the way they're doing things. So what do you guys think? Is Namco listening to y'all, or am I copying? You know, am I dick riding? You guys let me know. I'm covering some characters next, starting with Steve, working on the video actually right now, so you don't want to miss that. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. So GG my boys, and take care.